So today I'm going to do a video on tips for getting your first tattoo, or tips for even just getting a good tattoo. So my first tip is to research your artist really well. Look at all the different shops in your area, kind of gauge which artist you think has a style similar to yours, and don't be afraid to ask them, like if this is something that they normally do, if this is something they're willing to take on, all that kind of stuff. Because when you have a really good artist who's like the style totally fits what you want, that's how you're going to get the most success with a tattoo. My second suggestion, especially if you're getting your first tattoo, is to get something kind of small. And that's just because, really, when you go in to get your first tattoo, you don't really know what to expect with the pain, and how fast it really goes. You don't really know what to expect. So I usually say, maybe it's easier to go for something a little bit smaller in a place that isn't, your foot or your ribs or your face or something where it's going to be, kind of painful and super noticeable, just because, for your first tattoo, it is generally just, you testing out the waters. So my third tip is to be prepared to spend more time in the studio than you think. Don't go in there and after they say, oh, it'll take an hour, and expect to be able to go to work in an hour and a half. That's usually not really how tattoos work. You're usually in the studio for a while the artist draws it up. And then after that, they set up and they kind of make you wait around. So usually their estimated times are for how long it's actually going to take to be tattooed, but that doesn't really include any of the amount of time that it takes for them to set up or get you stenciled or anything like that. So you're often sitting there for a little bit longer than you think. My fourth tip for getting a tattoo is to get the tattoo a little bit bigger than you think. I feel like, especially for your first tattoo, you're like, I want the smallest thing possible, make it the size of my pinky nail. And while that might seem kind of like a good idea, oftentimes those tattoos don't turn out as well. They often kind of get blobby, and you can't really add that much detail into such a small piece. So I would definitely say that get it bigger than you think. Don't make it huge or anything, but definitely listen to your artist's recommendations on how big they think that it should be. And along with this, my sixth point is, definitely listen to the artist on placement. And this sounds kind of like something obvious, but when I got my first tattoo, I was adamant on having it in the spot that I got it, on my hip. And she was like, I think you should put it a little bit higher. And I just was like, nope, this is where I want to get it. And now looking back in hindsight, I really wish that I had listened to her suggestions, because now I have a tattoo that's really, really low, and it kind of hides in my pants and just peeks over the top a little bit, and that's definitely not where I had intended for it to go. I wanted it to obviously be a little bit more noticeable than that. So I would definitely say listen to what your artist has to say when they're telling you where they think that it should go, because they do know best at the end of the day. This is their job. So my sixth kind of pointer for getting a good tattoo is to really try and build a relationship with your artist. Really find someone that you like and that you feel like you can trust, and make sure that you tip them well, make sure that you show them that they're appreciated, all that kind of good stuff. And lastly, I would say go custom. Get your artist to draw you out something amazing. That's kind of their job. And, for my first tattoo, I just got a picture off the internet, just kind of stenciled onto my body, and I really wish that I had gotten something custom. Because I just feel like it looks so much better, and it's something that that only you have, and not everyone in the world has it. So it's kind of nice to have that sense of security, and oftentimes the artist can take a picture and make it 10 times cooler than you thought that it could be. Another tip that I do have for getting your first tattoo, or just getting any tattoo in general, is to make sure that you think ahead as well. When I got my first tattoo, I got a Cheshire Cat, and I didn't even think that eventually I'd be starting an Alice in Wonderland sleeve and be stuck with 2 Cheshire Cats on my body. So it's really, really important to kind of think ahead, plan ahead, make sure that you kind of have a game plan if you do think that you're going to get more than one tattoo, or if there's kind of something that you love. For me, Alice in Wonderland has always been a huge part of my life. I've always loved that movie and the books, and so probably getting a teeny little Cheshire Cat for my first tattoo wasn't the best idea, because eventually I ended up starting a sleeve of Alice in Wonderland. So those are my tips for getting your first tattoo, or just how to get a good tattoo in general. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks so much, guys.